Family and fellow soldiers, I'm the Professor, and this is the Moment of Truth. And now the Friday Crime Report. Lunenburg, Massachusetts, Monday, May 26, 2025. Sharon Brown is a black father. He has a child, 10-year-old Azalea, who he dotes on. He's a competitive fisherman who's won a number of tournaments and would frequently take his daughter out on the water to teach her to fish. Well, as we all know, white supremacy is global, and Massachusetts proves that American racism is just as virulent and violent in the North as it is in the South. To celebrate Memorial Day last year, Mr. Brown took his daughter out to Shady Point Beach. He and his daughter got pizza from Athens Pizza, and then they went to Lake Shirley. It was a location Mr. Brown knew very well. He had fished there many times and even won 2 fishing tournaments there. It's public waters, so this was a place he was familiar with. But he wasn't familiar with the racist who lived around the lake. Enter David McPartlan, who decided he didn't want any black people fishing in his lake, even though he doesn't own any part of the lake. His first words were, "Don't fish here next to my dock. Go somewhere else. Why are you here?" McPartlan got louder and kept yelling and swearing. As Mr. Brown described it, "Next you know, I hear this big splash. Did you just throw a rock at me?" He had. McPartlan had hurled a large rock that splashed into the water mere feet away from their boat. That was when Mr. Brown took out his cell phone and began recording.
"Oh yeah, I'm throwing rocks at you."
Oh, what was that? Oh, really? All right, buddy. You know what? I'm going to call the police now.
According to Mr. Brown, the video ended only moments before this racist thug picked up a large stick. The police arrived, eventually, and when they did, McPartlan told the police, "I slipped a word out that maybe I shouldn't have, but I was angry," according to the police report. Though when asked what word it was that he had said, he replied, "I'm not going to admit to it." So there you have it. He admits to the racial slurs, so this was racially motivated, and he then went on to tell the police that he knew what he had done, but that he wasn't going to admit to it. So he knew he was in the wrong, and at this point would use lies of omission to try to slither out of it. He also admitted that he threw rocks at the boat. So he admitted to all the major elements of the case, not that he could deny it. And because this violent criminal wasn't black, the police managed to arrest him without killing him. McPartlan would be charged with 2 counts each of assault with a dangerous weapon and assault to intimidate. There should have been some sort of hate crime enhancement for it, but you understand it's Massachusetts. McPartlan pleaded not guilty and was allowed to leave court on his own recognizance without bail. He was also ordered to stay away from Mr. Brown and his family. Keep that in mind. Of course, he's from the dominant society, so the white media begins to try to rehabilitate his image in real time. They soft pedal their description of him. Nobody talks to his neighbors to see who else he's been terrorizing, because you know they're not the only ones. As usual, the white media coverage depends entirely on the skin of the person being reported on. Now, the white media didn't do any searching or any background checks to see if this thug has any priors, and if he does, they didn't report on them. But just to show what a law-abiding citizen he's not, remember how at the arraignment he was ordered by the court not to have any contact with Mr. Brown or his family? Well, in September, only a few months after that, McPartlan was arrested again, this time on a charge of witness intimidation. He had told one of his employees that he would pay the man $500 to vandalize Mr. Brown's boat, and just to make sure of it, McPartlan told his employee that if he refused, he would be fired. Police documented that McPartlan gave this employee Mr. Brown's address and told him where the boat was located, as well as giving him specific instructions ordering the employee to use a sledgehammer to smash the engine on the back of Mr. Brown's boat. So what this means is this creep McPartlan went out and found where Mr. Brown and his family live at and began stalking them, and then he attempted to have someone destroy the man's property. This was an act of terrorism is what it was meant to be. The employee refused to commit a felony for this reprobate, so McPartlan fired the man, who then reported this to the police. On Tuesday of this week, the judge actually did his job, at least in part, and revoked McPartlan's bail, ordering him to be jailed for 90 days, concluding that he would not abide by the bail conditions, which included having no contact with his victims. So, in addition to the assault charges, which should have had hate crime enhancements, he's now been charged with attempted vandalism and witness intimidation. Behold, the self-professed most law-abiding demographic in America. McPartlan's lawyer must be getting paid by the word because he's been trying every trick in the book to get this guy some white sympathy, calling him an elderly man who struggles with memory loss and mental confusion. Struggling with mental confusion? Was that why he was able to clearly recall the crimes that he had committed to the police, and he was able to carefully tell the cops that he said some language he knew he shouldn't have, and then he was so careful as to say that he wasn't going to admit to anything? Sounds to me like he has an excellent memory and wasn't confused one bit. Otherwise, he wouldn't have known to tell the police what he would or wouldn't say. In the video of this crime, he can be seen without a cane or any sort of walking aid, and yet by the time he's arraigned, suddenly he needs a cane. This lawyer was throwing everything against the wall, hoping that something will stick. He claimed that this criminal had a head injury and brain damage due to an industrial accident, and even that he has a metal plate in his empty head. So he's trying to claim that he's not to blame. His injury is the reason he commits these violent crimes and spews racial slurs. As Paul Mooney said, they always let the dominant society get away with total lies. We'll continue with the moment of truth in just a moment, but first, a word from the official sponsor of Black Empowerment, Power Tools. There's no telling when something's going to come up, so make sure you carry your power tools at all times. You never know when you're going to need to bring the hammer down, or when you'll have some trash that needs to be blown away, or some obstacle that requires cutting down. Don't get caught empty-handed. Keep your hammer close by. Keep that leaf blower at the ready, and always carry your steel. Power tools, because no matter what your day job or side hustle may be, there's no excuse for not being ready to put in some work. He's supposed to be going back to court on February 6th. Now, there's something else that needs to be said, and it's the reason why I won't be following up on this case. Mr. Brown said that he wanted justice for himself and his daughter.
I want to make sure justice is served for my daughter and myself. I'm still shocked and dismayed about the situation. Kind of losing sleep at night. It kind of bothers me when I think about it.
And we can all agree that's what needs to happen. The problem is that Mr. Brown then went on to say that he had asked God to forgive this racist attacker. This degenerate, for no reason at all, throws rocks at your child, hurls racial slurs, terrorizes your child right in front of you, and your response to that is, I want God to forgive him. Now, if these reports from the white media are accurate, this is what Dr. Claude Anderson called inappropriate behavior, and this is one of the main drivers of these kind of attacks. Too many Negroes have let white racists know that attacking black people is a victimless crime, that you didn't actually do something wrong. After all, when you attack a black person, that's not really an attack against a human being. It's probably a minor offense to God, so that's between you and God. The black person really has no stake in it because the black person doesn't really mind. You see, that's what happens when you let your instinctive response to anti-black violence become the old Lord forgive them, they know not what they do. These white supremacists understand that as emboldening them, you're giving them a pass. And also, the white media reports are that Mr. Brown hasn't talked to his child about racism. The quote from Mr. Brown on this was, "My daughter witnessed it, where someone calls her father that word. I'm forced to explain this to her when I may not be ready." There's some parents who might think of this as preserving their child's innocence, but this is not a virtue on the parent's part, it's neglect. Your child is not being innocent, your child is criminally naive. You would never shy away from telling your children about the reality of dangerous dogs, or kidnappers, or child molesters. Educating your child about the dirty and dangerous things that they'll encounter is part of your responsibility as a parent, because there's a lot more white supremacists out there than there are kidnappers and dogs, and these two-legged vermin are far more dangerous. To me, what Mr. Brown has done is irresponsible. Racism is a threat to your child's safety and to her life. And this guy says that he avoided talking to her about it because he wasn't ready yet? So it's not about protecting the child, it's about protecting himself is what it sounds like. Seems to me Mr. Brown has a lot of growing up of his own to do, and as if maybe he's worried more about interracial access than his child's well-being. His daughter may be 10, but he's the one talking like a child. Either he can explain to his daughter the reality of the world she lives in, or he can wait until trash like David McPartlan do it for him. But either way, she's going to find out. The difference is whether someone cares enough about her to prepare her first. Right now, Mr. Brown is refusing to do that. And his closing his eyes to reality didn't make it go away, and it won't make his daughter any safer either. In fact, it makes her less safe. And as he found out, well, I hope he found out, his presence did absolutely nothing to deter these white supremacist behavior. He was there, and it didn't change what happened one bit. I don't know if Mr. Brown plans to compete in any more fishing tournaments after this, but I do know that if the past is any indication, the court will allow the white racist to be the one who gets off the hook. And that's this week's Friday Crime Report. Keep your eyes open and stay on alert, because there's a lot worse criminals out there than the ones the white corporate media chooses to show you. Good day, and be one. I'd like to take a moment to mention some of our contributors: Wesley Monroe, Sakina Collins, LB, Nora Brown, and Black Truth United. Salute to them and thank you to everyone for listening, liking, and sharing this message. Black empowerment only exists because of you.